Welcome everyone to November 2023's episode of Spiritual Questions Answered with CordyKet. And tonight, the question or the topic is why it's not good to find out who did black magic to you. Okay, so recently we have been having quite a few black magic cases, and almost without fail, every time we handle a black magic case, and usually it's our client, right? Our clients, most of the time, is our clients who are victims of black magic, and they would like the black magic to be cleansed. And quite often, I would say almost without fail, they will want to know who did the black magic to them. And my answer typically is it's always better not to find out why. And then I have to explain, give a long explanation. And this time I would like to just explain to everyone. And the next time if a client asks me again, I can just forward them the recording, and they can, so I don't have to spend so much time to explain. All right. So if you want to know what black magic is, it's already covered, right? I've done a talk on it. Black magic is somewhere in our one of the earlier topics that we did. So it's available on a YouTube channel. Look for our podcast or our playlist called Spiritual Questions Answered. So that will explain what it's meant by black magic. All right, so okay, let's get down to it. So the main question is why it's not good to find out who did black magic to you. Okay, so I will be tackling this from a few angles. Okay, so typically, let me explain the typical scenario that we have, okay, that we normally encounter. So normally what happens is this. So usually you have a victim, all right, a victim, V is victim, or a group of victims. So if it's a group of victims, typically they'll be family members or working for a company, that sort of thing. All right, there'll be victims, and then you have what we call the dark practitioner. So dark practitioner is or black magician. All right, so dark practitioner. So you get a bad guy. So just for sake, don't make this person look like dark practitioner. All right, so this is a bad guy. Okay, so this is a dark practitioner. So the dark practitioner will be the one who casts the black magic on the victims. All right, but usually there will be another party involved. Okay, we call it this is the instigator. All right, these are the victims, and the DP is the dark practitioner. Maybe I'll just write it out. Okay, we call them dark practitioners. Usually, it's one single dark practitioner. Usually, this is by far. I think the vast majority of the cases will be like this. So most of the victims, they will. What happens is they go through. They are victims of black magic. Strange things happen to them. A lot of accidents or strange disease or strange conditions. Okay, I've seen all kinds of stuff. So what? And then of course then there will be. It could be happening to them personally, to the family, to the business, right? All kinds of things. Okay. It could even be one of my clients were very rich. They run oil rigs, and the entire oil rig was black magic to the point that the entire oil rig couldn't function. There were a lot of problems until I removed the black magic on the entire oil rig and everyone who was working on the oil rig. I mean, there can be things like that, all kinds of things. All right. So now typically, all right, what happens is there's an instigator who is not happy with the victims. All right, so black magic, typically there will be an instigator who's not happy with the victim. So there can be all kinds of situations that someone is unhappy with the victims. So it could be usually I would say most of the reasons would be due to money or due to love, relationship, all right, or all kinds of things are downright evil, control, all kinds, but usually it's money and relationship. So the instigator is unhappy with the victims. Now, typically, the instigator is someone that the victim knows or kind of know, typically. All right, so the instigator is unhappy with the victims, and what the instigator will do is the instigator doesn't know black magic. The instigator will go to the dark practitioner and pay money, right? Pay money to the dark practitioner, and then the dark practitioner will cast a spell or multiple spells, right, on the victim or victims, and then strange things will start to happen to them. All right, so this is, I dare say, this happens to like over 90% of the cases that we have. So of course, the victims, once they start to know, right, things are going wrong, the business is going wrong, or the health is going wrong, they know something is wrong, especially if they heard of things like black magic, or some people may not be familiar with the term, or some the terms like voodoo. If you heard of voodoo, right, voodoo is also a form of black magic, right? Voodoo. So as long as it's meant to do harm, cause bad luck, and all kinds of things. Even there's also like I mean, it's tends to cause harm, but there's also the other kind whereby for relationship, people do black magic to make the other party fall in love, right? Fall in love with, let's say, it could be for love, and the instigator like the woman or the male, and then the instigator would like this person to like him or her, and then go to a dark practitioner and want to make the person fall in love, and there can be spells that do this. All right, there are all kinds of situations. So once the victims find out, so they will want this cleared. All right, typically they will engage another person, a healer, right? Of course, they will engage a healer. So in our case, we are light workers. So healer. So normally the first thing is now, so black magic normally will send there's spells, and there'll be evil spirits. Just to let you all know, normally there'll be evil spirits that come with it. All right, a lot of evil spirits, ghosts, demons, what kind. This is standard. All right, black magic. So as the healer, right? So when we go in as light worker, what we do is we will remove the evil spirits. We have to remove the spells and then after that we have to heal the people's light. All right, we have to heal the people's light in order to make sure that everything is all okay. Okay, so this is usually what happens. Now the victims, so so we are the light workers, the healers. We go and then we help the victims, and typically, the victims will always want to know. They always ask me, "Kat, can you tell me who did this?" All right, and usually my answer is this: it is not good to find out, and normally we don't find out unless necessary. Unless absolutely necessary, we will not find out or we will not confirm who did it to you. All right, and I would like to explain why. Okay, there are a couple of angles to it. So, so firstly, there are two main angles why it's not good to find out who did black magic to you. So the first reason is actually for your own safety. Okay, safety of the victims. Now, and what do I mean by safety? So now, typically, for us as light worker or healer, when we remove the spell and evil spirits, what we try to do is we need to do it in a way that the dark practitioner does not know that whatever he did is undone. They need to. This is the best way to do it. Okay, so for the way we do it, we try to do it in a way that such that the dark practitioner will not know that his spell or these evil spirits are dealt with by us. Okay, so this is the thing. So, and now the danger, one of the danger that I learned is that if the victims find out who did the black magic to them, it can cause a safety problem for the victims, such that the dark practitioner will find out that the spell has been removed and the dark practitioner can do the black magic on the victims again. Let me explain the scenario. Okay, so now let's say these are the victims, right? And I come in, I'm the healer. Okay, the light worker. I come in, I remove the evil spirits and black magic spells, right? And I did it in a way that the dark practitioner doesn't know. All right, I did it in a way such that the dark practitioner does not know. And first of all, I will cite the first case. The first case I encountered, one of my very first case of helping a person with dark practitioner. I was in India. All right, this was one of my earliest case. This was way back in 2011. Yeah, in 2011. So in 2011, I was in India, and at that time I was a newbie, but I've just learned some basic stuff. All right, some basic stuff from Cordelia, very, very basic stuff. And I was at an ashram. Of a spiritual guru, and I encountered this man. So this man was telling me this story of how he was being black magic by a famous guru, a famous guru, and in India they call it this term Gayas. All right, we call it Gayas. Okay, so there are all different types of terms, but to us it's all black magic energy. And so we got talking because he found out that I know about all this energy stuff. So he asked me, he felt that, so he's a businessman, if I remember correctly. So he told me that things have not been going very well, and he suspected someone did black magic on him. All right, and someone is actually the instigator. In his case, the instigator and the dark practitioner is the same person. So usually they are separate, but in his case, it was a guru who had this type of knowledge who did the black magic on him, who did what he called the Gayas on him. So he asked me to check, and then I was like, wow, yes, he's right. There's this energy and all these things that are with him. So he asked me for advice. So right there on the spot, I taught him how to remove. I helped him remove the black magic, and after the black magic was removed, he could feel it. He could feel it, it's gone and everything, and he felt much better. And then he started talking. So he started talking about his condition. He was very angry, he was very angry, very upset. So his instigator and dark practitioner are the same person. So he kept talking about the guru, the person who did black magic on him. And I had to tell him, dude, I remember his name started with V. So I had to tell him, hey V, you need to stop talking, because if you keep talking, and because the person who the instigator dark practitioner are the same person, there is a chance that the person know that the black magic has been removed from you. All right, but he didn't listen, and he keep on talking and keep describing me the situation, and he was angry. Okay, and then not long after, within the same conversation, because we were talking throughout the night. I remember it was we had dinner together at the ashram, and he got to know me, and we chit chat many things, and then we stayed up, to chit chat, and then not long after, I can't remember, maybe half an hour later, as he kept on talking about the dark practitioner, the guru who did the Gayas on him, suddenly the black magic came. Suddenly something happened to him. All right, he could feel something was wrong, that the black magic was coming back, and there were things coming. And then he was like, oh, he said, oh, he's back, and then we had to have the spell removed again, and it was much more difficult the second time around, much more difficult. In fact, the second time around, it was so much more difficult than the first time, because the dark practitioner already know that the first round of black magic was removed from him. That night we couldn't get it off the second round, so I had to you couldn't get it off, and it was very late, and I was a newbie then, so we decided to call it a night. And then the next day, I gave him more advice to see what he can do. And it took him much longer to get it removed. So this was my very first case. All right, very first case, it happened in that case, the victim, right, was talking about that practitioner and the instigator, and they are the same person. And even though the black magic spell was removed, because he actually knew. In this case, he actually knew. Okay, so he actually knew. So he kept talking about the dark practitioner, right? And then the dark practitioner figured out that, knew that the black magic spell was removed, and then the dark practitioner attacked him again. So that was my very first. I dare say that was my very first case that I did black magic. That I helped someone with black magic because I was a very newbie then. So this lesson really struck me. It's my first case, so it was. The lesson was very deeply ingrained. Now, in most cases, the instigator and dark practitioner are not the same. So let's say, typically I will help people cleanse and remove the black magic spells and the evil spirits. And the victims will ask me, they would like to find out, and I normally tell them, no, it's not good to find out. So the first thing is for their own safety. Now, in normal situation, right, the dark practitioner and the instigator, they're different parties. So the victims will want to know, they're interested to know who is the instigator, right? So a lot of people are like, I would like to know who did it to me, so that typically they will give this reason so that I can avoid the person, or so that I can take some action against this person, right, who did it to me. So they're normally not interested in the dark practitioner. Dark practitioner would of course be very powerful. Now, normally my advice to my clients, right, to all these victims are, if someone did black magic on you, what you should do is, after it's cleansed, you should keep quiet and not tell the whole world that you have black magic cleansed off from you. Why do I say this? Now, usually the instigator is someone who knows the victims. Usually, that's why they don't like you. They have they hate you, or they're angry with you, right? So they get a dark practitioner to do black magic spell on you. Now, normally I will tell the victims, you shouldn't go around town telling everybody. Maybe you can tell your close friends and family, and that's about it. But you go around telling everybody, or you go and put up a Facebook post, or put it out on social media and say that your black magic has been removed, right? This person will get to know, right? This person will get to know, and then he can pay more money for the dark practitioner to try and do more black magic on you. Either go to the same dark practitioner or go to another dark practitioner to get the magic, black magic done on you again, on the victims again. Do you get what I mean? So normally, okay, now what does it have to do with not knowing who this instigator is? Now, can you imagine if the person actually, if I don't know, right? Imagine if you're the victim, right, and someone did black magic on you, and you suffered maybe for months, years, decades. Right? I have clients that suffered for decades before they managed to find someone like us who could remove their black magic spell thoroughly. Because sometimes the dark practitioner can be very high level, right? So they can find different healers, but not all healers can remove. So usually, so far we can handle all the cases that we've dealt with so far. All right. Now, imagine if you ask the healer and the healer tell you who the instigator is. Do you think you can really behave the same to this instigator once you know it is this person who did black magic onto you? Can you actually imagine if this is someone who's your friend, but who's actually an enemy pretending to be your friend, or if this person was your ex or your current lover? Do you think you can maintain the same kind of pretense once you know this knowledge? Can you? Usually the answer is no. And If you can no longer maintain the kind of relationship, then this person, the instigator, will know that, hey, maybe you know about the black magic, you have found out, and then this person will be like, oh, now you know I'm the one who did black magic, and maybe initially he paid a dark practitioner just to ruin your business or just to cause you to fall sick. But the moment if this instigator knows that you know if himself or herself, he will ask the dark practitioner to try and kill you, right? So that nobody will know that it's him or her that is getting someone to do black magic on you. Do you get what I mean? Most people, once they know who the instigator is, they will change the ways they deal with this person, the way they talk to this person. And this instigator can be all kinds of in all kinds of situations. All right, it could be it could be someone who's your best friend. It could be your lover. There's all kinds of things. It could be your husband. It could be your wife. Things I've had whereby the instigator is husband, wife, lover, ex, brother, sister, parent, child. There's all kind of shit that's going on in this world, right? Whereby some people, for whatever reason, they would want to do black magic on the victim. So so normally we don't find out, and even if it's someone very close and they know that the dark magic, like even if they know that your spell has been removed, okay, let's say the instigator is someone who's close to you and you got something bad and you got it removed, you tell them, okay, it could be someone who's very close to you and they get to know. Now, as long as they don't know that you know who did it, they may not go to a dark practitioner to cast another spell on you. Do you get what I mean? Because they can tell that, you're still treating them the same. But if you know, if the relationship changes, if the dynamics of the relationship changes, if they know you know, they will go and get the dark practitioner or somebody else to try and kill you. It is that way, right? They will try to get it done. Usually, black magic can kill. They can cause an accident to happen, a car crash, right? All kinds of things. They can. I've had clients whereby, when by the time they got to me, some people in the family have died of illness or some strange circumstances, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so the number one reason is for safety. It is better that you don't know. It is better that you don't know. Okay, so the second reason typically so the second reason, or maybe you can say it's even the number one reason. So in general, the knowledge of knowing who did black magic to you typically, right, other than exceptional cases, there will be exceptional cases. In general, these two rules apply. Okay, at least for us, I don't know about other healers or other light workers. So usually no good will come out of it. Now, what do I mean by this? So first of all, what we're doing here for us infinity practitioners, we are all light workers. Our job is to first job is to remove darkness. Second job is to bring light. Bring positivity to any situation. This is our job. Now, usually if we reveal who is the instigator, all right, no good will come of it. Because if the victims know who the instigator is, they will be generally two outcomes, right? Generally, there will be two outcomes. One will be anger. Yes. And the other one will be fear. And these are all dark energies, isn't it? Right? These are all dark energies. So I always try to help my clients understand I'm a light worker. I'm here to remove darkness. I'm here to remove dark energies. I'm here to bring light. I'm not here to bring dark energies into your life. I'm not here to instill anger and fear. Um, and this is what will it is this that draws a line between a real light worker versus other people who are not fully of light. For example, I have a lot of my clients, they go around to different healers, different seafood, different masters to have black magic removed. And quite a lot of times, quite a lot of my clients tell me that the master of seafood will find out who the instigator is, and the master of seafood will reflect or bounce back the spell onto the instigator. Unfortunately, that is not our way. That's not a CordyKet's way or Infinity way. Because to do so, to cause harm to another person, even if you reflect or bounce it back to the instigator, it is bringing harm. It's not what we do. So this is a very important distinction for us light workers. We are here to remove darkness, dark stuff, and to bring light. So we will never reflect it, and we do not reveal, because there is generally no good come out of it. If we tell you who it is, generally there will only be more anger or fear, right? And anger will typically lead to some form of a vengeful action. Vengeful action, like maybe the victim to be so angry they want the same black magic to go to the instigator, right? Their clients, there are people like that, right? An eye for an eye, or they themselves go and try and find another dark practitioner to do this instigator back, and then there'll be no end. So normally we don't do this because it will only bring dark energies, more anger and fear to the situation instead of bringing light, bringing harmony, bringing peace. So our general advice to our victims is we will cleanse it for you, all right? And then you don't go around tell the whole town that you have got it cleansed, so that hopefully so hopefully the other side won't know and they won't do on them again. So this is our general instruction. Now there are only certain times, okay, there are exceptional cases whereby we have whereby we have encountered whereby we may need to review, or we may need to confirm. So a lot of times the victims, they themselves will have an idea, because they will have they will kind of have an idea who are their enemies, who are the people who don't like them, who might do something like that, and they'll try to ask, is it this person, is it that person, and all those kind of things. So usually we won't say a word, we'll not say yes, we'll not say no. All right, we just we just tell them that unless there are exceptional cases, we don't tell, we don't reveal. So what are the kind of exceptional cases? So I'm going to share with you all real life cases that I've encountered. All right, real life cases. So one of the real life case is so it's a typical case. The first real life case I want to share is typical case whereby the victim, right? The victims, the instigator know who, they know the instigator, someone close, and the instigator got a dark practitioner to do black magic. So what happened in the first case, in this case, was the victim was a woman, a female client, right? What happened was the instigator, found out the instigator was her husband's mistress. All right, the instigator was her husband's mistress who got dark practitioner to do black magic on her and the whole family, including her husband. So apparently, I found out what happened. Apparently, she and her husband were not in good terms. All right, so she and her husband were not in good terms. So the husband went out and had an affair, had a mistress. Then recently she and her husband got back together. She put in some effort. She consulted me for, basically she came to me to consult me what can be done to improve the relationship. I made some suggestions and things to do, and her relationship with her husband improved, and the marriage was on and mend. And I think what happened was that the husband broke off with the mistress, and the mistress got very mad. So the mistress did black magic on the whole family. Now, of course, she wanted to know who did it, and I'm like, I can't tell, right? It's not good for me to tell because she's getting back with her husband. If I were to tell her that this is coming from her husband's mistress, right? I will only be bringing anger, and I will be tearing up a family, right? They are getting back together, right? You get what I mean? So there's the knowledge will only harm her relationship. So I just said no, I didn't tell her. But in this case, the instigator keep on getting that practitioner to keep on doing black magic. The black magic never stopped. So after a while, this went on for quite a few months, I think like half a year or something like that. So eventually what happened, because the instigator keep on getting the dark practitioner to do black magic on her and her husband. Now eventually, this client of mine, eventually she told me that she found out that her husband had an affair and had a mistress. All right, and because the situation was such that there were repeat black magic being cast on the victim, right? So and I got permission from heaven upstairs, that because I work for heaven, right? So I got the permission. Then I told her, actually this this black magic is being instigated by her husband's mistress. But by then she already know that her husband had a mistress. So I didn't do anything, didn't reveal any knowledge that would bring further anger. And I counseled her to tell her she got to treat it very wisely. And of course, the husband will not believe the instigator is someone who did black magic. So this was one of the cases whereby I had to reveal who the instigator was. So usually the condition that we encounter is if it is a repeat black magic casting, typically, and normally I have to get heaven's approval, okay, to reveal. On my side, on our side, we have to get heaven's approval. We have to check that it's not information, because it's not information that will bring anger and fear to the situation. Whereby this thing, and usually it's repeated, and this will justify, usually it's justified it's good for the victim to know because of their safety. So in the first place, we we do not inform them why. It's because of safety. But because of repeated black magic casts, it's actually in the client's interest under certain circumstances whereby the knowledge will be helpful, right? It can help with the safety of the clients or the victims, right? Then I will reveal it. So this was once the husband and wife, whereby the instigator was the mistress. So another straightforward case that I encountered was sibling, right? Sibling doing to another sibling, and in that situation, it was really difficult. So in this second case, there were two siblings. So there was one sibling. So the instigator is a sibling, and so the instigator sibling was living with the mom. So they stay under the same roof. So the instigator sibling apparently knows some sifu or some dark practitioner and keep on doing black magic to the mom, right? And so the victim sibling, right, doesn't live with the mom, and every occasion we go and visit the house. to visit the mother, right? And every time they visit, they always feel that something is wrong, right, with the food that they eat, and they will always feel sick, and all kinds of funny things will happen. So they already suspect this victim sibling already suspect is this other sibling that's trying to do black magic. This would be for money and those kind of stuff. So and in this type of situation, all right, whereby they the victim already is like, very almost very certain, all right, very certain who the instigator is, right? Then we can reveal. So usually the victim's knowledge is almost certain or certain of instigator identity. So, and in this situation, I had to reveal so that they can be more careful. Again, it's interest of the safety. They can be more careful when they go over to the mother's house to visit, because the other sibling will try to do black magic on them. And in this type of case, it's very difficult because they cannot um, keep on paying for cleansing and everything, and so they need to take certain precautions, right? Need to um, take certain action to minimize the chances of being black magic repeatedly in this situation. So this is one case that I confirm, right? So, and a third case is also maybe something similar. The third case that was worse is there was a mother, a there was a mother who's a dark practitioner herself, right? Who did black magic on the whole family, on the whole family, on the husband and on the children. This was one of the worst cases. Although the mother was a low-level dark practitioner, so the way she did is she did black magic to the food, and then after the people eat, then it's like the family will be under her mental control kind of thing, and they cannot leave home. They're always very sickly. So the client who came to me, she was telling me, like, they can't leave the mother is like a control freak, right? So she learned all these things. She wanted to control everyone in the family. So when the boyfriend, when the son had a girlfriend, and the son wanted a girlfriend from overseas, he wanted to visit the girlfriend's family, and he took a flight to another country. But the moment he landed, he felt so out of sorts. So he felt so bad that he felt so lousy that he had to take the next flight back home to the mom. And that was the kind of black magic. So there's all kinds of things like this going on. So in this case, the client was actually one of the children of this mother, all right, and it was one of the worst case because the mother fed the family black magic through food for decades. So the whole body, everything was all black magic, and it was a very disturbing case. Removing the black magic energy from the victim, it was like, wow, the victim was like so painful. It's almost like seeing a Hollywood movie. She was contorting and looking like Linda Blair in Exorcist, all kinds of things, and screaming. That was one of the worst cases. So in this type of case, clearly, we, in the interest of the client's safety, and she already very very had very high confirmation that it's her mother. So we just need to confirm, and then so she needs to our client need to take steps to avoid the mother, and that was in the interest of safety. So typically, this will be the exceptional cases that we choose to reveal who did the black magic. All right, and otherwise, really, we do not encourage it because it's really for the safety, and most people really don't understand. All right, now the dark practitioners sometimes now this may just to help you understand how is it that the dark practitioner can find out? Now, if you think, especially if the dark practitioner and the instigator are one and the same, all right? Now, usually what happens is, if you know who is the instigator, if the instigator is the dark practitioner, or you keep thinking about the dark practitioner, so in the first case, we try not to reveal who did black magic, and it is best that the victims do not know who the dark practitioner or the instigators are. Do not know at all and try not to think of them. Because in general, if you think of a person as a victim, if you think of a person, your energy will go to that person. All right? As whoever it is, when you think of a person, there will be energy going to the person. And if your now, the most dangerous thing is, like in my first case I told you about, in the India case, whereby the guy think about the person who's the instigator and dark practitioner one and the same. Now, if your thoughts ever go to the dark practitioner, and the dark practitioner is usually like people like, they are energy experts, people like us. They can sense it when people think about them, think of them, especially when your energy has a lot of anger or fear. And then they can trace and they can find out that, oh, so you know that the spell comes from me. And they can find out, oh, so you remove the black magic, you remove the spell that was cast on you. Because they can sense your thoughts, because there's this energy connection. All right, there's this energy connection, then they can do the spell on you. Again, especially for some dark practitioners, they have very high ego. Oh, some dark practitioners, they have very high ego. They never like it. They never like it when their victims get to escape or gets off free or is killed or is cleansed. They never like it, and they may, even if the instigator do not pay them money, they may want to do the spell on the victims again and again until the victims succumb. This is real, and recently I have been training, I train NNT students. So recently one of the NNT students have reached a level whereby he's apprenticing with me, and he's actually not reached the level whereby he can actually deal with black magic. So what the student did was, he helped some victims cleanse, remove evil spirits. Now, it so happened that the dark practitioner who did the spells on the victims was a very highly skilled dark practitioner. It was a very highly skilled. So when the student came to me to seek my advice, because his clients the victims didn't come to me, but he knows the victims like they are his friends. So he came to me and I reviewed the case, right? And I checked everything. I told him, I told my student, hey, you got to be very careful, because based on what I see, the dark practitioner is very skilled. And I told him, not just very skilled, is very, 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 very skilled. One of the most skilled dark practitioner I've encountered based on what I can see that is affecting the victims. So I told my student, best is if you don't touch the black magic on these victims. If you touch, you may regret it. So, but these are his friends. So he tried to help without touching the black magic. So he just tried to remove evil spirits without touching the black magic energy or the spells. And what happened to him is, after he tried to help, right, things started going wrong in his life. And he didn't know what happened, So apparently for a few months, things started breaking down in his home, in his equipment, the car, things keep breaking down and people keep falling sick. And then his business plummeted, one of his businesses plummeted to almost zero. And this went on for about 5 months, And because he's trained by us, he could sense if there's black magic energy. So he didn't feel that there was anything wrong with him. So he came, he told me, so this student finally told me that, hey, he related the story that, for months he's been experiencing all this bad luck and everything. And I told him, okay, because he's apprenticing with me, I told him, okay, stay back today. He went out one whole day with me, followed me with cases. There was no black magic that could sense on him. And then I told him to stay until very late. He stayed until past midnight that day, and then I checked him. And I found out that this dark practitioner managed to trace, because he tried to help, and somehow because his skill is not there, even though the dark practitioner does not know him directly, but the dark practitioner was so skilled that he could sense the healer's energy, the student's energies, there's some energy here, and he could trace the energy all the way back to him. And the dark practitioner did some black magic, did it in a way that's not black magic. It's a very skillful way of black magic that he screwed up his life, causing him to lose, I think, over the period of almost half a year, he lost a lot of income, a lot of money, and a lot of things spoiled, and things were happening to him and the people who stayed with. So it was really very serious. I'm telling you guys this story just to have you all understand dealing with black magic is not simple, and usually in the interest of safety. I always mention safety. So with black magic, safety is paramount, because black magic can actually cause death, real death, or paralysis, or an accident, you break your arm, you break your leg, or you enter a coma. Is something that can be irreversible damage. So safety is of paramount. So I always tell my students and my clients, look, whatever we're doing is for your safety. All right, I've seen all kinds of things happen. So normally we do not reveal, because the number one reason is for your safety. And no good, in general, no good will ever come out of it. And unless your case happen to fall under exceptional case, then only I will review. All right. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I noticed some of you have typed some questions. Let me address them. Edwin, how one know one is targeted by black magic? Any sign? So you can go through the video. If you guys got a lot of questions about black magic, don't forget there's this video and this talk that I did specifically on black magic. But to just run through this question very fast, usually there will be a string of bad luck, right? Bad luck, bad health, health that cannot be the doctors can't do anything about. But it's very hard to say. I mean, I have clients dying of cancer because the black magic brought on cancer. I've got a client that his hand turned black and died from a very strange, very rare disease, right? And by the time he came to me, I could remove the black magic, but I cannot undo the damage that was done by the black magic. Strange things can happen. The client, the lady whose husband had a mistress, she came to me because she had, I think, 2 or 3 accidents in a very short spell of time, but and she's never had car accidents in her whole life, and she could feel heart palpitations. Some people will feel like it feels almost like heart attack, heart chest pains. That can be a sign. Quite a lot of the clients feel that. So those are some of the signs that is possible with black magic. Or you'll see evil spirits, ghosts, that kind of thing. That's one of the signs. Edwin is asking, will the dark practitioner and instigator receive same bad karma on the cast black magic? So actually I did cover it in the black magic or curses and black magic video, the episode. So don't worry, there is karma. So normally anyone who does this kind of black magic, right, whether it's instigator or dark practitioner, there's karma, and they will normally have to suffer for it. Okay, and if you have read Cordelia's book, right, Possessed from Darkness to Light, like Cordelia's book, where Cordelia was a victim of black magic. So actually, in the end, the spiritual teacher who did black magic on her had didn't have a good outcome. So apparently, he died. He died alone, and the police didn't know who he was, and nobody wanted to claim his corpse, right? And they had to try to find his family, and there was a big hoo-ha. Some people know him, and that's eventually Cordelia knew that he died, and under strange circumstances. So there are all kinds of things. In the story, right? In the story, Cordelia also mentioned that her dad was a victim of black magic too, and the same thing. The people who did black magic on her dad, they had no good outcomes. by the law of energy, whoever does black magic, they will, if there's a spell on the victims, right, the spell will, the instigator will also have the kind of same energy around them, and eventually it will affect them too. The dark practitioner, they will have their own way. They will have their own way of trying to block the black magic from affecting them. But actually, no matter how you do, you can't run. Typically, you do one spell, the spell, the effects on the instigator and the dark practitioner is more than double. The effects more than double. All right. So Edwin again, what materials needed to cast black magic? Are they target hair, cloth, belonging anyway to prevent the spell or cast of black magician? Are photo and handphone number enough to cast a spell by a black magician? So it depends on the dark practitioner or black magician what kind of things they need. So they may need something physical from you, but in today the most skilled dark practitioners they don't need. They just need your photo, right? Anything that you belong to you, a photo of it, your phone number, your email, right? It was mentioned in Cordelia's book again. So Cordelia was black magic either through her phone number, her mobile number, or her email, and her way um, of getting rid of the black magic back then was she had to delete her email account and she had to cancel her phone, and then after that the black magic lifted. So that was the way that Cordelia did for us. We will cleanse the spell so that you don't have to, change your phone number or your email address. We can do that. So they can do it in any way. So the very skilled people, they don't need anything that's physical from you. So the old days, they say take your hair, your nail clippings, or your clothes. Actually, you don't need. Okay, in today's world, if especially we all have social media account, right? They can just take your photo from there, or they just, even if there's no photo of you on the social media account, even if you put some other photo, they can just show, and if the dark practitioner is skilled enough, they can get you. Okay. Edwin again, is the black magic also got levels of difficulty? Yes, there are various kinds of black magic. Edwin is asking, can you elaborate what is heaven's approval? So basically, for us, we are light workers. As a healer, we are connected to heaven. So for our work, we have a connection. We're connected to light, connected to heaven. Okay. So when we do work, we make sure heaven is on our side, light is on our side, and in under certain circumstances, we have to check. Like this type, we have to check, with heaven whether it's okay, because we don't want to cause any fear, anger. In fact, this type of things will generally lead to karma, right? Bad karma, especially. So we have to be mindful for us light, because we have to bring light and remove darkness. We're not here to bring darkness, and if we will cause additional karma between the victim and the instigator, create additional dark energies in the world. That's not our role. So if we are not sure, we can check with heaven for approval. All right, and for those who are trained in infinity, you will learn to differentiate. Right, you learn how to connect to heaven to get to verify all this information. Coral is asking, any way to protect against black magic ever touching you? Yeah, and Abby was asking this, how to prevent. Now, for normal lay people, it's actually very difficult to prevent. Very difficult, unless for those of us who are in this industry. Now, even for healers and light workers, we are not immune to black magic if the dark practitioner is of very high level, right? For us, we need to make sure we are very high level in light in order not to be affected. So I was telling you all, like the case of my student, right? He's quite high level. He can handle demons and everything by himself. He's actually very well trained by me, right? But I always tell him, black magic is a totally different ball game. It can get very dangerous, and I tell him that, look, I'm not teaching you how to deal with black magic yet because you're not ready, right? You have to go. For us, we only teach the students how to deal with black magic in module 12 of Infinity. All right, module 12, we have 21 modules, so it's quite a long way before that. So most people don't deal with black magic until they are very good in a lot of things. Before that, they have to learn a lot of stuff. So most normal people, you can actually not stop, and even for people or healers, for light workers, they can get affected. And I've got so many stories. All right, I've got clients coming to me whereby they are healers. All right, the victims come to me and they tell me that their sifu, their master, died fighting the dark practitioner, right? Or the master lost. All right, and we even have clients, when they come to us, yeah, quite a lot of them, the healer or the sifu who was helping them, they lost. And some you don't even dare to tell us that the sifu or master who helping them lost. And they are, because they are afraid that if we know, then we don't want to take up the case. Like there are cases like that whereby the healer, they say, oh, this is too powerful for me, and they don't want to take black magic cases, because black magic cases can be very nasty for even people who are in this field. Having said that, there are people who are very lucky. They are born to be, whereby their energy is immune to black magic. All right, is immune or very unaffected by black magic. This one depends on your date and time of birth. So I've got one of the clients, who came to us whereby her sifu died, or her sifu lost or died. She knew the black magic was meant for her husband, and it came in the middle of the night. So the black magic spell didn't affect her husband, but it affected her very badly. So her husband had energy that was very strong, and somehow her husband was protected from the black magic spell. All right. So, but she was not the main victim. She was not the intended victim, but because she was sleeping next to her husband, right, the spell didn't get her husband; it got her. And there's also one more case. Another person that I personally know. Also, he didn't get personally affected, but everyone around him, right, get affected. Okay, so there are people who are like that. So, but in general, it's actually very difficult to reach that stage, because even for us healers and those people who do this work, right, depending on what level the dark practitioner is, so it's light fighting dark, so it's a matter of who is higher level. So, and because for normal people, your level is not very high, so in general, most people will be victims once targeted by the dark practitioner. And in most cases, black magic, all this dark kind of energy is meant to deal with light. So most light workers and healers, they unless they have a lot of training and they have very good teachers, they normally lose in a fight to dark practitioner. All right, it's not easy thing to deal with. Waiting second. So if a healer kept cleansing the victims, the black practitioner would know, right? Yeah. So if the victim keep coming to a healer and keep cleansing, so of course, it's either the dark practitioner will eventually find out. If the dark practitioner keep doing, he usually, unless the dark practitioner is so, the skill level is so low, he should be able to tell whether the victims have black magic on them. So the way we can tell when the black magic has been cleansed from our victims, right? I shall assume that unless they're very lousy, they're very unskilled, they should know too. Okay, so so the dark practitioner should know. And usually, in most cases, because it's in this kind of scenario where the instigator will pay money to the dark practitioner. So as far as I know, right, the sum that is needed to pay to dark practitioner to do black magic on people is usually it's usually an expensive amount. I don't know about other healers, but my fees for cleansing black magic is normally very affordable, and it's normally just a fraction of what the normal dark practitioners charge for doing their deed to the victim. So at least for me, all right, the way our fees work is normally quite affordable compared to what the dark practitioner charges. So even if the dark practitioner, the instigator keep on having to pay the dark practitioner to do the victims, and if our clients keep coming to us for cleansing, normally it's still, in terms of money wise, the victims pay less to us than the instigator pay to the dark practitioner. All right. Does the spell last forever? Now, if someone is a victim of black magic, the black magic spell lasts literally forever, unless it's cleansed. Forever as in forever. So if the black magic can stay on to with the same soul for future incarnations, right? So one of the things that we do check is sometimes there are people who have black magic that's not from this life, from a previous life. I've encountered cases like that. All right. So if someone is a victim of black magic and the black magic is not cleansed this life, the black magic can be carried over to future lives. Wedding is asking, in what way will the dark practitioner let go the victims? Now, most of the time, the dark practitioner get paid. He just casts, and then that's it. His job is done. And if the healer cleanse, normally the dark practitioner will not do it again, unless the dark practitioner has ego and keep on wanting to do it. It's still a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work for them, and they need to use resources. They need to go and find evil spirits and all this. So normally they don't do unless they are paid to do so. Except maybe in certain cases whereby the dark practitioner is very egotistical, and just want to prove a point that they want to win. There are cases like that I've encountered before. A majority of the cases, the dark practitioner will only do when paid. So, yeah. Then the dark practitioner will not keep on doing because it is work. Everybody's asking if the Sifu lost, his life or her life can be lost as well, depending on the skill of the Sifu. Yes, if the Sifu lost, they can lose life, and they can lose their power because normally the dark magic, the black magic will take out the light, and then the Sifu cannot do any more healing and all those. I've heard from quite a number of my clients this happened to the Sifu, and I also help other healers cleanse the black magic that they help other people and they are victims of black magic. So I've helped other healers and other light workers too. So this is something that happens. So, and yeah, some people do die. It's very unfortunate, but black magic, please don't mess around with it, okay? Willing said, how amazing, natural immunity against black magic. Yes, but it's very rare, okay? Those people have natural immunity against black magic. Chorus asking, cannot ask heaven angels light for protection? You can try to ask, but it is very difficult because the dark practitioner everything depends on the skill. So if you're the victim, you can pray and everything. Now, I've already explained in some of the a video about how to make prayers more effective. Now everyone knows to pray, and to ask for protection. And if it's so easy to just defeat the light, then the dark side and the evil spirits, they will go hungry. There's nothing they can do. But it's not the case, all right? So the dark, all this black magic is designed to take out light. It's designed to fight the divine. The dark side have their ways. The dark side have their ways to counter light. Yes, at the end of the day, light is more powerful than dark, but it depends on the level of the healer versus the level of the dark practitioner. The light worker versus the dark. Who is more skilled? Who is more knowledgeable? Who has if the light worker has higher level of light than the dark practitioner has higher level of dark, then the light will win. If the dark level is higher than the light worker's light, then the dark practitioner will win. And in general, black magic has an advantage because black magic, the energy is designed to take out light. Anyone I train, all right, I get them to experience it. The nature of black magic energy is very corrupting, and it will take out the light, the light system and anything that most light workers can use. Because the dark side, they would have done a lot of research, right, into what ways, because most victims, they have light with them. So the black magic must be able to take out the light. And it will be able to take out the light of the healer unless the healer is of very high level. All right? This is real. It is a very dangerous thing. So it's not to say that light cannot win. It depends on the level of the light worker, all right, and the situation and the divine even. So let's say the victims pray and they get some angels. They get some angels. Right, they get some angels with them. Right, hello. But the dark practitioner, if the dark practitioner want to do spell on the victims again, the dark practitioner will know. Oh, you send angels. Never mind. He will go and find some very powerful demon. Alright, some even more powerful demon that can take out the angels and steal the black magic ghost. right? Because he will be able to tell, oh, this situation, oh, I know your level, this is level 20. I get a level 40 demon. See who win. Do you get what I mean? It can be done. So at the end of the day, it's see who is higher. So it's not, and when the battle is being fought, so it's not a straightforward that light will win at the end of the day. It depends on the situation, who's the higher level. But if you ask me, at the highest entity, all right, the highest entity is of light. So if the light worker can reach the highest light, then light will always win. But most light workers cannot do that. It's not easy, all right? It depends on their cultivation. So, Edwin, again, is there a way to reduce the impact to minimum but not cleanse totally the cast spell? So yeah, so there are a lot of healers that they can, when they cleanse the spell, they cannot cleanse fully. All right. So and it's kind of minimized, but no light worker, no light worker who can. I mean, if the light worker or the healer can cleanse everything, of course you should cleanse everything. I've done quite a number of cases whereby the clients is they've gone through many seafoods and the seafoods before us couldn't cleanse everything and we're able to cleanse everything and they could really feel the difference. Okay, so ideally you want everything removed, otherwise the spell can carry on to your future lives. So William saying, wow, when the soul went back to light, is carry on the spell and carry through next lives. Yes. Wailing, last question. What does it mean when light means the dark person cannot practice anymore? I'm not sure, Wailing, what you mean by that. What does it mean when light win? Yeah, so in a very extreme situation, so the light worker will have to battle the dark practitioner, and it's not easy. In general, I always tell my students you got to avoid such a confrontation with the dark practitioner because it may result in you may lose your life. Because for us light worker, we don't aim to kill anyone, but for the dark practitioner, they want to kill you. All right, and if you get into a confrontation, the healer versus the dark practitioner, and if you lose, you can literally lose your life. So normally, I tell my students, you need to stay very safe, right? Because I don't want anything bad to happen to any of the people that I teach or train. Okay, so but at the end of the day, if the healer wins, normally the dark practitioner, it depends. Basically, win is when the dark practitioner stopped fighting, stop doing things to the victims, and it depends. Normally, for us light workers, we have to take away all the darkness and all the sources of dark power, all the demons and everything that's with them, so that they cannot do black magic anymore. But the dark practitioner can stop and then can recover, can go and get more of his power back. But and as long as he stops, then it's considered the light worker win now, right? But we are light workers. We don't go around looking for trouble. We don't go around picking fights with people. That is very full of ego, full of darkness, full of pride. That's not the way of light workers. What we do is we just want to help people. All right, we want to help people, and we want, of course, as light workers, we want to be safe ourselves, right? This work, helping people deal with black magic, is very dangerous work. All right, if you ask anyone who has experience in this is not ordinary work. And I guarantee, if anyone of you trained to do this and you ever get into battle with dark practitioner, it is not worth the money that you earn from your victims. Even if your victims pay you a lot of money and you get whacked by a dark practitioner until you almost lose your life or you get paralyzed, it is not even worth the money. I don't know anyone who say they will do my work, right? For my kind of pay to fight dark practitioner if they know fully well what can happen. This is no joke, right? This is no joke because your life can get totally screwed. But rest assured, right? For us, it's very safe. We always safety is very important in Unity. We make sure that we train everyone. If you're not good at it, and you need to, before you handle a case like this, you need to check whether it's within your capability, right? If you're the healer, we always train our healers, right, to check whether is it within their capability. If it's not within your capability, you got to stay far, far away from black magic. All right, be safe first. So, Wailing says, I'm very brave. I'm brave, but I'm not stupid. I'm not foolhardy. All right. I'm doing this work because uh, I, I dare to do this work because I know behind me there is very strong power, right? The source of light, right? There's a very strong source of light behind us. So that's why we do this work. I'm not foolhardy, all right? If I don't have backing from light, I will not do such work. Okay, so if I guess there are no more questions, so I didn't expect us to go so far. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope I managed to answer all your questions, and I hope to see you again next month. All right. So if you guys feel that you've benefited, please do consider making a donation to support our online events, which are free or donation basis. If you can't afford it, that's also okay. How to make a donation will be in the groups, right? And in the Facebook group is already listed on how to make a donation is in the featured or announcement section. Okay, so if you guys are interested in helping minimize black magic effects, you can learn some of our techniques, our practices. Tomorrow I'll be sharing with everyone about Unity Qigong. Unity Qigong, light meditation, non-attachment meditation. It may not be able to help you get rid of black magic entirely, but it can help minimize the impact. All right, so that's something that you all can learn. And if you are free, I hope to see you all again. Okay, thank you. Have a good day, good night, and goodbye.